I guess one final analogy I used like that is if you were watching Michelangelo, carve the statue of David, one of the most famous works of art in human history. If you walked up to him and said, "What are you doing right now?" If he was in the middle of it, imagine if he said, I mean, he should say, I imagine what he was saying is, "I'm creating a work of art. I'm removing the material here so you can see the play of light on this shape." Well, would you be disappointed if he said, "Well, I'm holding a hammer and I'm bashing the end of this chisel"?
Yeah.
Like that was physically what he was doing, but that's not what he was doing. And we're never practicing scales. We're doing what we need to do to create something. And so I think that that covers the work side of it. But notice how that comes from the inspiration. And you know what? I have no idea what the other thing is. What makes some people just able to do this, and others, have a lot more trouble with it. But I reckon there are too many that I've struck people there who have the ability to do this and don't always pursue it, to the extent that they could and with the passion they could and make it happen. And I do believe it's because partly, and I'm not like letting them off the hook, the way we teach it too. If all I ever talk to them about is, have you learned that scale? Have you learned that mode? Have you learned that head? Can you do that in every key? And that's all I ever say as a teacher, even though that's necessary, then no wonder they end up thinking that's what it's all about. I think you got to connect all the time and every day, remember why you do it. And every time I'm in front of a student, no matter what else we talk about, even if I just mention it before they leave the room, we have a moment where we touch on music and remember what it's about and why we do it always.
Yeah. Yeah. It's that ultimate expression of your intent and your desire to express an emotion, a thought, a feeling
Yeah.
internally, express it in an external way, and have it replicated in others. I mean, whether it's playing an instrument, whether it's like you're saying. A great sculpture or a great piece of
Mm.
visual art, it's all the same. That's the
Yeah.
artist's desire. And I think we spend so much time focusing on the technical aspect of things that we lose sight of this is just a way of creating an emotional connection. And
Mm.
for almost a quarter century, I was a professional martial arts instructor, and that was one of the big things that one of my teachers would say is like, when you are doing movement, you are expressing an emotion, you're expressing an idea, and it doesn't have to be technically as solid if the feeling is right, if your
Yeah.
intention is correct. It's like what the analogy he gave is like giving a kiss. So if you are going to give someone a kiss and you're worried about how much moisture you have on your lip and how much tension is on your bottom lip and how much pressure you're applying, it's not going to be a very good kiss. But even if it's sloppy and you only get half of a lip in there, but you do it with feeling and passion, the other person knows what you're trying to
Yeah.
express.
I was shown a great thing, and I've shown it. I have three kids, three boys. I mean, they're all in their 20s now. They're growing up, but I showed it to them. It was shown to me. Just a great life lesson. I got a candle and lit it, one night in a dark room, and it's magical. I mean, what human being doesn't look at a candle in a dark room and just stare at the flame, and it's beautiful. And that was it. They went to sleep, and then I said, "We're going to do that again in the morning." And in the morning, we went outside, and we actually went out in the sunlight. It was bright sunlight, and I lit the candle. And I said, "How's it look now?" And they said, "Well, yeah, gee, it's weird. It looked so much better last night." And I said, "That's because it was surrounded by darkness. On a sunny day, it's hard for a candle to be so mesmerizing." And I said, because they'd been sad about something. They had a pet that died. And I said, without the darkness around the light, you can't see the light.
Yeah.
And the ups and downs, and how could you have the satisfaction of seeing someone graduate and how much that means to you when the lights come on. I call it when the lights come on, when someone gets something, that some concept, some musical thing, that wouldn't be so amazing, so wonderful, so fulfilling if there weren't all the times when they don't, or when you've got more administrative work to do, when it's a drag. That's what makes that great.
Right.
That's as you say, it's life. Without the struggle, there is no triumph.
Yeah, exactly. That's great, and it's so great to hear that not just reiterated in terms of our conversation, but that seems to be a huge theme for you in terms of the approach that you take towards your teaching and your music as well. So helping people to understand that it's if you define it as a struggle and the struggle is a bad thing, then it is a bad thing. It's allowing your head to get in the way. When
Yeah.
you accept it as being part of the process, I used to tell my students the more frustrated you get when you're trying to learn a new mechanical concept, a new level of coordination, the more frustrated you get, that's actually the closer you're getting to the inevitable solution, because your brain and your body are trying to create new neural pathways and new synapses, and all this is going on under the hood. And the stronger the struggle, that means that you're getting ready to make that change.
Yeah.
And you just have to get through that, because once you get through that, and once you understand that, the more frustrated you get, like for me, I get excited when I get frustrated, because it's like I'm about to get this. It may be the next time, it may be 10 times, I don't know, but I'm getting there. I'm on the cusp of a breakthrough. And when you can do that, you create this mind shift, and you, for lack of a better word, you embrace the struggle, and you understand that it's just that inevitable part of the process. But it's just every time you do it, you're one step closer to your ultimate desire. In terms of the way that you are coaching your students, and I'm using that term coach, meaning to lead them or guide them. I think sometimes we misunderstand the concept of the role of a instructor or a teacher. I think that our job is to guide people. Not necessarily tell them what to do, but guide them and give them our insights and help them to find the answers within themselves. But when you're coaching someone through that kind of a process, how do you explain to someone ways that they can bring themselves into that moment and let go of the judgment that sometimes creeps in a performance, that we do need in practice, where we need to be able to say, well, hey, you need to tighten this up, you need to really work on
Mhm.
this. But how do you help them to come to that space for performance sake?
It is the keep your eye on the ball thing. It is to say, you're not here to play the trumpet. You know, Playing the trumpet is a stepping stone. It's a means to an end. And it's the same thing. I mean, you can take this at all levels. If we start at the most basic level, kids sometimes blow into the trumpet. And I go, we don't blow into this. It's not a bucket. It's a pipe with another end. You blow through the trumpet. So I want you to stand on the stage and play towards the back of the room, straight from you. And the trumpet just happens to be in the way. Like, it's got to go through it first, but it's not into the trumpet. You're not blowing the trumpet. You're blowing through the trumpet. That's the first thing. And then we go, let's take that concept even further. You're not even blowing through the trumpet. You're making a trumpet sound. You happen to be holding a trumpet while you're doing it, but that's the sound you're making. You go, okay, let's go further than the sound. You're creating that emotion that sound makes. And we usually stop there. And I go one step further and say, you're not creating that emotion. You're experiencing that. And you're inviting everyone else in the room to experience it with you. You're just manifesting it. The sound exists whether you play or not. Right now, any sound that could be played is right there. And if you picked up a trumpet now, or I did, all we'd do is make it audible. If I don't play, a B on the trumpet right now, B on the trumpet still exists, right? You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
Like every note does. And an analogy would be, there are radio stations passing through both of us now while we talk. There's classical stations and hip hop and R&B and everything. We can't hear any of them. But if we got a radio and tuned it into the right station, it would appear to someone from a couple of hundred years ago who didn't understand radio, that music suddenly got created. And you go, no, it was always there. All music is always there. We just can't hear it. But when you tune in, that's the one you hear. And so all I'm really doing is saying all these sounds are always there. And at the moment, the one I'm manifesting that expresses me is this one. And that takes it away from, I'm not even playing the trumpet. I'm not even creating an emotion. The emotion's already there. I'm just manifesting it. And what that does is, it's so far from, where do I have to put my tongue? Or how much air do I need? Or what's the fingering here? Or is this tricky, a bit tricky? That there's so much momentum in that. I'm a great believer in this idea that the energy of that is so strong, it will drag you and your body and your chops that are a bit wasted, kicking and screaming. They'll just do it. It's too big a thing for them to resist. And so ideas like, I'm a bit tired now, it's towards the end of the gig, I hope I get the such and such, that idea is not worthy of this job. Like, it's, we're operating on a much higher order than that, and that's just going to be subservient to it, as opposed to the trumpeter who's sitting there, and the biggest thing in their being when there's one song to go on the big band gig and they're playing lead is, man, my chops are wasted. And that is the biggest thing. I just got to get these notes. And they're determined and they're putting their energy and they're giving it their all. And we go, that's awesome. No, it's not. It's too small a job. It's not really what's happening. Why are you even playing these notes? Because it feels awesome. Keep going, because that makes everyone else feel that. And you go, now we're getting closer. Now how does the job look? It's just a tiny component. And suddenly you get to use everything you've got. And not just what you've got, what's coming through you. And, I want to give you a picture of that in your mind, and for everyone who's listening in their minds, that I give my students. I say to them, have you ever seen what happens if they get a diamond? And you can look at, if you don't have a diamond, and I don't, but if you do, then look up, you can see it online. You can see it online. You get a diamond and you hold it in sunlight. Now, sunlight coming through the window looks great. What color is it? So it doesn't really have a color. I mean, right. I suppose it's kind of white, but it's not, because if it was, you wouldn't be able to see through it. It just doesn't even have a color. You go, okay, it's just light. Now put a diamond in the window and let the sunlight hit it, and put a piece of paper behind it. Bright magenta, blue, purple, yellow, these incredible colors. You go, wow, look at the colors in that diamond. Wrong. There are no colors in a diamond. They're all the colors that are in the sunlight, but you can't see them until you put them through a diamond. Check out a diamond in a dark room. It's just a rock. Check out sunlight without the diamond. Everything's there, which means you can't see anything, because we're humans. When everything's there, we can't see anything. Put a diamond there and it splits the colors and you can see them, and they're amazing. A musician is a diamond. The sunlight is the music. You don't have to create the colors. They come through you, and certain ones then are amplified, and certain sounds, certain things you hear, that's what everyone experiences. And when you're practicing, you're not creating music, you're polishing the diamond. You get brighter colors.
I love
and
it.
That it just gives you this feeling the music comes through you and you're expressing something that is there whether you do it or not. But when you do it, it's your expression of it, because every diamond shines different colors in different ways. Mm-hmm. And but it becomes so much more amazing once the musician is in the room. There's music in every room. You just can't hear it until a musician walks in.